I see a lot of online discourse about me right now because people don't like the fact that I'm talking about God now, but I used to be a bottle girl. But let me clear up the confusion. That's the whole premise of Christianity, boo.
This right here is a perfect example of cognitive dissonance. You know what people are saying, you know why they're saying it, but you're choosing to point the finger at something else. People don't care that you was a bottle girl at the beginning of the year, and now you're choosing to follow the Lord and do something different. People have something to say because you're coming off condescending and condemning other people for their walk with the Lord. Everybody has different paths and different avenues of them seeking God, building a relationship with God, and whatever they choose to do. Just because you can go from showing your ass drinking every night and all of that and do a complete 180 transformation in 9 months doesn't mean that the next person, it could take them 10 years to do that. Just because people do believe in God, believe in a higher power, believe in the Lord, that does not necessarily make them a Christian. And if they do call themselves a Christian, at the end of the day, nobody is perfect. You still have flaws, you still have sins that you commit every single day. You may not be the ones that you were before, but you still have them just because you're walking with the Lord now. So I think people are more so talking about how you're basically judging other people for doing a gospel song with a secular artist, or maybe because you choose to read your Bible every day and they haven't got to the stage where they walk with God to where they could do that. And it's kind of implying that God loves you more, or you're more important, or you're more high up on a scale than somebody else. And that's what discourages a lot of people from getting to know God. People like you. I don't even want to continue with this because this is not what my content is about. I just like to laugh, but yeah.
We really need to talk about the club to Christian pipeline and how a lot of the influencers who used to be pro-women are now going to turn to the church to go find themselves a man. And this typically happens about 26, 27 when they attempted to do what white women do, which is act a hot plum fool in their early 20s, but then get married in their late 20s, early 30s, Paris Hilton. But then they realize they're Negroes and that's not how it works for us. So then they go run to the Christian church, put on a ill-fitting outfit and think they're gonna get a Christian man. But what they don't understand is the same Christian men they're seeing on Sunday are looking at the girls they used to be in their early 20s when they were at the club. So because they were upset that they weren't able to secure their bag, their resources, their black kings in their early 20s, they're going to start being disrespectful to the girls who do not want to follow Christ or don't want to make Jesus their number one guy. This is going to be so amusing to watch this unfold.
Hi, welcome to the channel, or welcome back to Mutable Magic. I'm Mutable Magic. I'm mutable and I'm magic. Trying something new today. Trying the voiceover route because, I don't know. I like it because I can, right? Maybe I'll show my face a little bit later. But we've got an interesting video today. There is what's being called the hoe to church pipeline on social media. It's pretty much labeling a woman. It's always about a woman, right? Labeling a woman, especially an attractive woman who was living a pretty much secular, everyday, day-to-day lifestyle, maybe doing some form of schmicks work, and she decides to turn her life around and she finds religion, or she gives herself over to a religion, and there's a whole lifestyle and look and appearance aesthetic makeover that follows. She changes her hair, she changes her clothes, her wardrobe. She's not showing so much skin anymore. She might have been a video vixen and she's not video vixening anymore. A few examples of women who've been labeled as participants or people who represent the whole hoe to church pipeline as women who have given themselves to religion. They've gone on pilgrimages. They've even had public baptisms. Their social media, they've changed their aesthetic. They're now in the old money aesthetic. They're not showing so much skin. They're not doing fitness videos anymore. And they have a bob. Now, we've come to the extent where people will demonize a hairdo like a bob. Let's go to the videos. First, let's go to the lady who's very topical right now in social media as being the face of the hoe to church pipeline right now. This lady's in trouble with capital T. I'll come back a little bit later after a few stitches. Let's talk about this.
Make no mistake about it, the whole to church pipeline that people joke about is very, very real. It's been real for like 5 to 6 decades. It's always existed. Once that money from the nightlife starts to dry up, they'll go get their real estate license, or they'll get into nursing, or they'll just go completely holy and become a born again Christian, or they become a Muslim out of the blue. But typically they'll at least disappear and they'll slowly rebrand themselves. But you can't be on here for 3 years being a pink pill podcaster teaching girls how to date older men and then come back and then condemn that same lifestyle within the span of 4 months because you got a bob and you're wearing slutty sweaters.
Date somebody your own age. Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you dating women your own age?
Some women, not all. Not all. Some women be pretty when they're young. When they get older, they be looking bad.
There's
the older women don't
dynamic.
be fit. They don't be friendly. They don't be feminine. They don't be cooperative.
So women
and they don't be submissive.
A lot of times men want to date somebody so much younger because y'all be wanting somebody to train. That's what it is.
Yeah, sometimes.
And men say that.
Hey.
Women are not things to train.
Well, she could train up. It says train up a child in the way they should go.
But that's why y'all be wanting to date children. That's why y'all be wanting to date children.
So listen, I see older guys date young girls all the time. You understand?
We do, but that doesn't say that there's nothing wrong with that, though. Just because it's normalized does not mean that it's okay.
Listen, I don't agree with everything Amani Talks says. I take everything with moderation. The minute someone starts going 100 miles per hour about religion, my ADHD, my Gemini moon just kicks in and I get bored and I just glaze over, right? But she's entitled to have her views. She's entitled to have her life and to make the choices that she makes with her life as a person, as a woman with inherent value because she's a human being. I don't understand all this hate that she's been getting. I understand that it might sound judgy, it might sound religiosity, it might sound sanctimonious, and other big words that rhyme with hypocrite, if you can find one. It might sound like all that, like, wait a minute, you were part of this lifestyle. You were a shade of a schmix worker, right? You're like a stripper. You're like an escort. You're like a girl who's being, selling her body for rent or a blunt and a 2-piece, whatever. You're one of us, A bunch of women will feel judged by someone in a bob, a button-up sweater, talking about when you're a child of God, when you found religion, it should change you and whatever and that kind of thing. I get it. I understand why there would be some hate from some women, but I will not tolerate, I will not accept men chiming in about Amani Talks moving from being a shade of a schmix worker, because we understand that it's a spectrum of sex work. Sex work is work and there's a spectrum of sex work, and I guess bottle girls are considered schmix workers because they do their bottling in a nightclub. They don't do it in a church or a hospital, right? So I guess that's where all this is coming in. But I will not take this line of argument. I will not take any stones being thrown at Amani by men, because this is all rooted in misogyny, right? This is all rooted in misogyny, as in, how dare you, the shade of misogyny that is actually the Madonna whore complex, where men see women as either sainted mothers, right? Or whores in red lipstick and fishnet tights. You can't be an individual that has her own mind. It's objectification of women, which is why I don't understand all this hate coming from other women, because Sweetheart, the leopard will come for your face as well if men are not objectifying beautiful women like Amani, who has decided not to be the 10 out of 10 baddie that men can use and discard because she works in a club. Just looking at her, objectifying her because she's a schmicks worker in a club. Why you let them do that? Why you join them to pour hateration on her? If they're not doing it to her, they're doing it to you in another shade, another fashion. They're calling you a 6 out of 10. They're calling you a basic Betty, I don't get it when it's coming from women. I think it's crazy and absurd, and I kind of expect it from men because they will box women into categories of utility. You're either a mother, your bosoms are feeding a child, or you're a whore. Your bosoms are pleasuring a man. I don't get it. This is where the whole Ciara and Russell Wilson hate comes from as well. Like, how dare Ciara go from being a ran-through woman in the industry who's been with Bow Wow, who's been with 50 Cent and a bunch of others that I don't know, that I don't care to know, that I don't even care to name. And now she's with a man who does not have children. How dare you, a man who has millions, who does not have children, break our fantasy of marrying a single mama? You should have left her to die, to wallow and die because she had a child with Future and she left him, This is what I'm saying. I don't get the hate. I understand that she sounds judgy. She sounds religious. She sounds like she's holier than thou and looking down on other women. But when it comes from a man, it is intolerable. It is, how dare you change from the one box that we've put you in and go to something else? How dare you exercise agency? This is what I was saying, that you might need to help me in the comment section if you like, to tell me your view, to explain it to me. Close to 50, I'm hitting on close to 50. I might not get some of these things that social media, young people in social media share. But it's also because men do not change. Men do not change, and they struggle. It's a mindfuck pretty much to them when someone does change. When you go from being a bottle girl, when you go from dancing in the club, in fishnets, busting it wide open, splitting on a pole, to thumping a Bible, right? To being a church mother. They don't get it. You're either or, and what they've pegged you into is what you should stay, and you should be happy to stay in that peg and be of use. This is how I see it. Ladies, let's stick to fixing each other's crowns. Let's stick to code. Men, stay on code. Let's stick to code. If someone wants to be religious in a bob, let them. That's their choice. Just as you have your own choices and you can continue on the path that you're choosing to continue on. Amani putting on a sweater covering up and wearing a bob wig, Jackie O bob wig, doesn't mean that she's forcing you to do the same. She's not taking value from you. She's not putting value on you. You have your own value, and you add to your own value your own self. But let's not be letting these men come in to take value from us, because we know how that goes. If the leopards come from Amani's face today, they're gonna come for your face tomorrow. Let's stay on code. Girls, girl. I'm checking out. See you later. Bye.
I see a lot of online discourse about me right now because people don't like the fact that I'm talking about God, and just a few months ago I used to be a bottle girl. But what you don't understand is that that's the purpose of Christianity. The purpose of Christianity is that you come into contact with the Lord and you're made new, and you no longer live the same way that you were living, and you get a husband. Jesus Christ makes all things new, and when you come into a real encounter with him, your life should change, and you should get a husband after. And so I understand the confusion. It's because you guys are so used to seeing people go to the club on Saturday and then go to church on Sundays and then do it all over again. But for me, the unique, superior person that I am, unlike you sluts and heathens, I quit my job at the club because it was no longer profitable for me, and now rebranded as a hardcore Christian. Of course, so I can get a husband. The moral of this video is, if you are a woman in your late 20s and you're dissatisfied with dating, the best thing to do is to rebrand as a hardcore Christian so you too can get a husband. But you probably won't get yours before me because I'm superior. Oh, and I'm also saved.
The real reason men hate Russell Wilson is because he's given women hope. Period. Sierra was deemed undesirable, unworthy because she was a single mother who had a baby with a fuckboy. No, not Future should have been a better man. Sierra should have chose better. She should have looked into her crystal ball and saw the kind of man she was dealing with. Russell came in, unmarried, no children, well paid, and still saw the value in Sierra. Men are upset at that because in their mind, she should never have been able to come out of the gutter. She wasn't worthy of a man like Russell. She wasn't good enough for a man like Russell. And because Russell came in, saw her value, loves her, protects her, and provides for her, men are pissed because now he's given women hope. Women who are single mothers, women who have given themselves away discounted, he's given them hope. So now
you always hear women talk about how come men hate on Russell Wilson, but they don't hate on Future. They don't hate Russell Wilson. The only time they hate on him is when he messing up the parlay. But what a lot of women act like they don't understand, it's nothing but the bad boy, genuine individual type of situation. There's no way in the world you can honestly tell me that Sierra thought Future would be a good baby daddy or be a good person to have a child with. Didn't he have like 4 baby mamas at that time? So what made you think you'd be something different? And then her next choice is a way better choice, is the good guy, genuine individual. So that means you have discernment, but you go out there and you choose to deal with, and not only deal with, get pregnant by the bad boy who you know and I know is not a good choice. So there's no real hate for Russell Wilson unless he's messing up the parlay. They just don't like what it resembles, and it resembles how women will make a bad choice, blame it on everyone else but themselves, and then have another man raise the child. And to be honest, men don't dream of raising another man's child. Now, if you do it, congratulations, I salute you. But men just don't like what it resembles.